Welcome back, guys. This is the seventh video tutorial of Go Java, and so far we have covered how to create a string class and how to create immutable classes and all. Now we can see more detail about string class, like what and all methods will be there in the string class, and what other operations we can able to do. For that, first I'll be going to create a class called string methods. So here where we can test at least a few methods, we can cover it here, so which are important and which will be asked in your interviews. So there is a method called, I'll be creating a main method for that, for testing all our examples. So there is a method called toString will be there within string class. So toString method used for printing any values in a console. Suppose if there is a bean you have, and if you want to print any values using toString, you can able to print it. Suppose if you have an bean which is about, suppose if I have create a bean name called student. So which is having fields like int roll number, string name. So these are all the different properties we have within the student object, and now I'm going to create parameterized constructor. Which is taking int roll number and string name. So here I'll be assigning those values using this keyword, this start, anything you can put it, no, not specific order, you can, anything you can put it. This start roll number. Remember guys, if you just little bit and if you type control space, then the value will be assigned. Roll name will be roll name, roll number. So this is a simple implementation. I'm just creating an object for this class and explain you what is the how to use the toString method over here. I'm just creating a student object over here. New student of. So if I do print this value, so as this is not a row, because we should pass parameterized constructor, and we should pass two variables, which is roll number and name. I'm just giving 1 2 3 4 is the roll number, and the name will be James of giving. So I just created an object for this. So if you just print this value, object value, what will be there? So now we can see what output we'll be getting here. So it is giving a string which is about student object reference, and it's having some hash codes and all. So if you want more details about this class, and if you want to print some more details about this class, what is this object actually contains, so, or if you print different object, right? Suppose if you have different object, the same, the values I'll be changing as 5 6 7 8, and names will be Geo Thomas. So I'm printing again this value. I'm just declaring variable as object2. This is object1 and this is object2. I'm declaring. I'm just printing this object again, obj2. So for this class, I just created two objects. Object1 is having Jane. Object2 is having Geo Thomas. And if I do printing these two values, I'll be getting unreadable format. So you cannot able to see the content inside that, and these are the two different objects. So with the hash code, you can able to identify these two are the different objects of student type, and we cannot see the much details. So the way to do this is, I will be just going to this student class, So there is a predefined method available within object class, which is the parent class for all the classes. Even for the string class also, object will be the parent class here. So I'm just implementing toString method over here, so that we can see the difference, how it will actually differ. The way to do this is public string toString it is showing some error saying the method must return result type and string, because we haven't mentioned return type so far, and that is the reason it is mentioning as error. So I'm just putting as a string object we're returning, I'm just mentioning return. I'm just returning for readable format, I'm just returning roll number is. So this is the string concatenation operator we'll be using for concatenating any number of strings. Name I will be using as name. So I'm just overriding this toString method. You can put override as well, as we are doing the same. So this is the override method of object class, which is parent class to all the classes. And I'm just overriding toString method within the bean. What are the bean you have there? I'm just overriding. I'm just printing my own custom string. I formatted this string, and we can run the same example now. We can see the difference, how this output is going to be changed. See, now you can able to see proper details. What are the values you're passing? Those values it is listing in the object. I'm just printing the object again, and I'm just overriding the existing functionality instead of returning the hash codes and all. I'm just overriding this functionality using toString. So for printing purpose, I'll be using this, and for object 1 it is showing as James, and object 2 it is showing as Geo Thomas. So these one of the important method we can use it. So we can go to the next topic, which is string tokenizer. String tokenizer. String tokenizer is one which is actually used for splitting your string. Suppose if you have a string like in our previous example, if you have Geo Thomas. So if you have two strings, if I want to split these two strings with two strings, this is a string variable, and this is having two words. I want to split each word. So what will be the separator for this? It is a space. Or you can have a different example, which is the same name. You can take it, Geo comma Thomas. So the separation character will be comma, or you can have any special characters, dot Thomas. So n number of separation characters you can have. Either way you can write it anything, you can write it in either way. And if you want to split some set of string with some special character, and there is a class defined in Java which is called string tokenizer. So these actually outdated, and there is a new implementation comes to the picture, which is equal to string tokenizer, and I'll explain you once this is done how actually that will benefit. First we can see it, what is this string tokenizer will do. Spelling. So we can write an example. What string tokenizer will do is, suppose if you have for string tokenizer, if you are passing the string, and for string tokenizer, if you pass the string, any of the string, if you pass and pass the separation character, whatever the separation character it is, in this case it is a space, then what will be the output will be, you will be getting two splitted strings, which is about Geo and you will be getting toString, which is Thomas. The same way if you do it here, like comma also, so for the same input, for the same, there are three types of inputs we have mentioned here, right? Comma and even dot you can mention, or any special character you can mention, anything, even dollar also you can mention here. Any special characters if you give, the only input you have to give is the string name and the separation character. In this case we have to give, this is the token, you can say this is the token. What is the token and what is the string? You just need to give inputs as token and in this case dollar. Then you will be getting, splitting that string and you will be getting the output. So you'll be getting two strings with each words. What are the separation character you'll be giving? In this case, what string tokenizer will take? The whole string and the separation character. It is giving splitted strings. And the string tokenizer is taking a string with comma and the delimiter you will be giving as comma and it is giving splitted strings. And in this case, it is taking as dollar string and it is splitting with, and you will be giving dollar as a delimiter and it is string taking inputs and it is giving us two strings. We can see it in practical how this is actually doing. With the same example, we can try it here. I'll be creating a new class called string tokenizer test. So here I'll be writing a main method and I'll be declaring a string which is about Geo Thomas. Anything you can take it. I'm giving the string. The way to implement a string tokenizer will be string tokenizer. You just need to click control space. This comes under util package. str equal to or str, anything you can put the variable name. New string tokenizer of. See, there are different methods available. Either you just need to pass the string itself and later you can point the delimiter, and the one way you can able to pass string and delimiters. So there are different methods available. For now I'll be using it one constructor which is taking a string and a delimiter. So we can use either of the any constructor, we can use it. I'm just taking the second one which is taking string and delimiter. That will be clear for me to readability. So string I'll be giving as name tab, then delimiter will be any delimiter you can give it here. So in this case the delimiter will be the space. I'm just giving space here. So that's it. So this string tokenizer, what it will do is it is actually taking the string and it is taking the delimiter. It will actually split the string with the delimiter. How many occurrences will happen? Those many occurrences it will split it, and it will print all the strings. The way to print that strings will be, you have to use a while loop, while of str dot. There are methods available in this string tokenizer. The methods will be like has more tokens. If you see, it is having so many, either you can use more elements or tokens, either one is fine. I'll be using tokens for readability. You can use more elements also, the functionality will be the same, and has more elements, like how much the elements will be there, that much time you have to loop the string tokenizer. And I'm printing the values which is str dot next element or next token. As if you are using elements, then you have to use the next element, and if you are using tokens, then you have to use the next token. That's it. Now we can see the output, whether it is giving. The expected will be it has to print two strings which is Geo and the other string will be Thomas. We'll see the output now. See, now it is printing Geo and Thomas. Even if you have so many names, right? Even if you have mentioned any, suppose I'm giving more input for this, name 1, name 2, space name 3, space name 4. So how many names you'll be giving, those many results will be printing. We'll see that. See, all are having same delimiter, which is space over here. So the same way we can write in different ways. Instead of space, I'll be just clearing this output for now. I'll be using dollar as delimiter. Instead of space, I'll be using dollar. So now we can test the example. So, and you have to remember, instead of space, you have to give delimiter as dollar over here. So now my intention is to take this string as input and split with delimiter called dollar, and we can see the output now. What output we'll be getting. So which is returning same. So you have to remember two things. One, the string, input string you have to remember, and the delimiter, what delimiter you're supposed to plan. And depends on your requirement, you can go through each and every string, and you can able to split it. So what will happen if I give space here? Suppose after name 2, if I give space here, and what will happen? We'll see this now. So it is printing name 1 and name 2 and name 3. The reason it is printing name 2 and name 3 is there is no delimiter in between them. So these one block. This will consider as one block. And what will happen if you give space? So you can try it in different ways. What will happen? You can take different strings and you can try it in different ways, and you can see the different outputs over here. Depends on the input and the delimiter you're giving. So now with the space, it is having only two tokens, which is this is one token out of after the space. This is one token. So that is the reason it is printing as two strings. So this is a way of testing string tokenizer. So this is the one you can use it, and instead of string tokenizer, we have latest implementation called split actually. So these are old versions of Java is having, even the latest versions also will support. But the recommended way is not to use a string tokenizer as a new implementation claim, which is split. Now we can see how to implement using split method. The way to do this is, I'm just commenting this code for now. I'm just doing in different way. So I'm taking a string which is name. I can take the same name, Geo Thomas. So the way to implement this one is like you just need to have name dot split. See, it is actually taking a regex. So regex we're going to cover it in next topic, and what is regex and how to use it. And regex is a combination of, suppose if you want to restrict email address, suppose if you're implementing a registration form, and you need to have the email address in the same format, and it should be like the name and at the rate symbol and the .com should be there, and these syntaxes should be followed. We can restrict using regexes, and we can cover it in next tutorial for that. And for now, I'll be using a split method with the regex. So for the space, so I'll be having the space here, right? For the space, we can use regex as .s. This is actually mentioning the spaces. It is actually mentioning regex for the space. And if you see the return type for this method, it is giving a string array. So the data type we have as string, and the return type will be split, will give you the string array. I'll be assigning that value to string array. Name array or result array. So I'll be declaring a string return type. Now I'm printing these results. Before printing these results, first we can see what will be the length of this array. So the expected will be the 2 tokens it should print, right? See, now it is printing 2 as an output. Now we can see the results. What is actually printing? The way to do this is, for loop you have to write int I equal to 0, I less than result array dot length I plus plus sys out result array of I. Now we are printing the length of array, and we are printing the elements of the array. Geon Thomas. The same way, like you can test it for several names, name 2, name 3. You can test it anything you can give it, and depends on the results. It will actually split the elements, which is functioning same. And this is the latest implementation of Java, and this is actually preferred to use it instead of using the string tokenizer. That's it for string tokenizer and the store and the split method we have covered. So that's it for now. We can cover the other topics later. Thanks guys. Thanks for watching.